you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
I'm Moses Voss here from thechrisvoss.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are these things that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is family that loves you, doesn't judge you as harshly as the rest of the world, because you're here to learn. You're here to get smarter and grow and become a better person. And everyone who's not listening to the show is becoming a worse person. No, that's not true. I'm just kidding around. But be sure to help them out by referring to the Chris Voss Show. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places on the internet. I think we got them all. You know the rap. I just made all that up and it worked out right. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success. Today, we have an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking about her book called It's All About You, A Guide to Good Mental Health and Wellness, out August 31st, 2027, by Cynthia Rapazzini. Welcome to the show, Cynthia. How are you? Cynthia?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am excellent. So give us a .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
Author, CynthiaRapazzini.com.
And so give us...
So they can find me there, and then also...
Give us a 30,000 overview.
And also they can go...
Give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside. Go ahead. Give us, it looks like we have a delay. Give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside your new book.
Okay, well, the book is about mental wellness, mental health, emotional wellness, and it's informative, and I wrote it so I could share information regarding mental health, what people, as far as my experience working with parents and students in the school district, people don't realize that everybody has mental health. And so it's really important to know what to do and get help when needed. Mental health also has a stigma attached to it. And individuals are apprehensive sometimes, a lot of times, to actually reach out and get help. And so the book really is to provide information so individuals can do further research, but to also reach out and get help for themselves and their loved ones. And so it's providing knowledge, and that's what it's about.
So what prompted you to want to write the book?
What prompted me is, well, working with so many people, students, parents, there's a reluctance to reach out for help. And so I just wanted to provide that information to help them understand how important it is. And you don't have to be psychotic to reach out for help. Yeah. A lot of times I hear when individuals are depressed, and it's a down day, or I'm just feeling sad, and it's going to go away. But it doesn't go away by itself, and we need help to actually, and so individuals need to be able to help themselves, have the knowledge, what can they do if they have problems, who can they talk to, And so that's what the book is about. It has a lot of information.
Now, part of this was prompted out of your son being diagnosed with a serious illness. Tell us a little bit about that story, if you would.
Mm-hmm. Well, my son was diagnosed with a serious illness. However, he is healed, and I'm grateful for that. But this was years ago when it happened, and it was so shocking. And when you have a sick child and you don't have any control, it's a terrible feeling. And so it was depressing because I was so unsure of what the end result was going to be. And so that's how I started the book, just to share, because I had my problem or issue with depression. And I wanted to share that with individuals so they know we're all human beings. We all have mental health. And at times in our lives, sometimes we can't handle whatever it is completely alone. And we need knowledge. What do we do? Where do we go? And so that's why I wrote that book. But my son's doing excellent, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Oh, we're awesome. We're happy for that too, as well. That's very good. It's good that he survived. But it looks like you have a PhD or doctorate, right? In a field. Is this the field that you have your doctorate in? And what got you into studying that field?
I was in business, banking, finance. And then when I went back to college to finish my bachelor's degree, I decided that I wanted to do something that I felt was more important, and working with individuals and giving back. That was important to me. And so just the way that it happened, it was really a blessing, because at the time there was not a master's program in business at this particular college, business management. And then as I was talking to the recruiter, I said, well, I really want to do something. I want to study something so I'm able to help people, and I want to give back. And so I want to do something that to me is more meaningful. And they just happened to have counseling, the first counseling class that was starting. And so she said, well, it's just a 3-week class, but go ahead and take it and see how you like it. And I did. And I found my niche. That was where I believe I should be. And so that's when I started the master's program. And it's Master's of Education specializing in school counseling. So this is the perfect thing. I found something that I could do that was meaningful, that could help people. And so that's how it happened. So when I finished with the master program, I just thought, while I'm on a roll, I can go ahead and continue my education. And that's what I did.
What?
And it's Doctor of Philosophy, specializing in counseling studies. And so I'm a school counselor because I was able to change careers. Mm-hmm. And I'm a school counselor now, working on my 20th year.
Wow.
And
congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're helping teenagers, I think, or kids?
Yes. I started with the school district in 2006. And I was at an elementary school for 7.5 years. But then I decided that I wanted to work with older children. And so then I changed to middle school. Mm-hmm. And I did that in 2013. And so I've been in middle school since then.
Awesome.
So I am a middle school counselor. And it's really, I get an opportunity to work with the children on a different level because they are older and they do understand, as opposed to elementary students.
Mm-hmm. And one thing you talk about in your book is Sometimes people have misconceptions, misdiagnoses of counseling. They see it as like people are going to think there's something wrong with me if I ask for help or if I go get help from counseling. And that's not really true, because I think a lot of us go through different mental health journeys in our life and cathartic moments that we have to recover from and stuff like that. And so I'm guessing that part of the data in the book is to dispel those myths that, asking for help or admitting that you have a problem isn't bad. It isn't shameful. It's actually pretty empowering when you can finally say, I have a problem and I'm going to get some help.
Yes.
Yeah. And keeping it all to yourself and your problems, bottled up, you can't get any help from anybody at that point. So ask for help.
Yes. And it's really true. There just are misconceptions, and that's why I wrote the book, so they would get a better understanding of what mental health is, emotional wellness. What is that? What does that mean? But there are so many people through the years that I've come across that were very reluctant to get help. And I'm hoping that through the book and also the trainings that I did for so many years, that I was able to help them understand better, and they really actually feel confident enough to go reach out and get help. So that's my goal. That's my hope for the book and everything else that I do for the rest of my life.
What makes you what gives you satisfaction and feedback in helping others? What's the motivator there that it does for you?
Just that I was able to do that, and I know I don't do it all on my own. I know that, but being able to actually help them when they're really, really struggling, and then they reach out and they get help, and it could be students that are struggling academically, behaviorally. So there's different aspects that I actually help with. But to see that they made the change, that they do understand, they want to make the change, and then they're successful, and then to see them happy with themselves and proud of themselves. And so that's very fulfilling for me.
Yeah. How were you influenced as you grew up? What kind of made you drawn to that? Was there challenges or cathartic moments in your youth that made you want to, help other people?
Now, you broke up a little bit on that, so I didn't hear it all the way.
What was your life like growing up? What were some of your influences? Were there instances in your life that made you want to help other people and taught you this sort of empathy?
Well, growing up, I worked for the recreation department when I was a teenager, and so I worked with students then. And so basically, when I went into counseling and I get to work with kids again, I felt like I went home, because that really was my first experience. I didn't know it was going to be mental health, but I did get to work with children through the recreation department, and when it was after school, so they could get help with their homework if they needed to. And then during the summer, there were several activities for children. And so I did that for several years also. So just being able, I don't know, I love people, and I definitely love kids. And so I want to see everybody healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally. So if I can do something to help, then I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. How would you say your book is different than other books that are available kind of along the same topic line in the market?
Well, prior to studying, I just had I didn't have a lot of knowledge regarding mental health, mental illness. And when I would see terminology used and it wasn't explained, and I didn't really know what it was. And I started calling it psychobabble mumbo jumbo. Well, I decided that the best thing I could do is when I know that term was, but when I wrote the book, because there was so many books out using terminology that regular person that's not studying that doesn't know what it means. And so that's why when I use terminology in the book, I made sure that I explained what it meant. So people would actually continue reading the book, because that's the other thing. If you don't understand, you're not as motivated to complete it if you don't get it. So that's why I clarified the terminology in the book.
Cynthia, so with your book, do you find that the terminology, you talk about some of the other books, they have trouble, people get lost in the terminology and the big words of psychology maybe. So do you find that your book kind of simplifies that down to where people can understand it better?
Yes, I do. And that's the one thing, writing so everyone can understand. So an 8th grader can understand. And that's important, because then that other people, other ages can understand it as well. So I wrote it that the 8th grader, 7th grader, 6th grader can actually understand it, because the terminology is not, it's explained. So the goal was to meet everybody's need. Everybody can understand. And so it's a really, really easy read, I think. And so it served its purpose, how I put it together. I believe it does.
Sometimes the simplest answers are put in the simplest language, I mean, that's one of the reasons when they wrote the Constitution, they made it so the average man could read it in simple text, because not a lot of people had gone to college back then. But even now, today, a lot of people, they really don't have good reading skills. I think most people have like a 4th grade reading school. Thanks for all those legislatures to dial back education for the last 20, 30, 40 years. What are some of the ailments that you would say, if I'm out there listening in the audience, I've got some, issues I'm having. What do you think, what sort of ailments do you think the book is targeted to or can help? Maybe it's just some examples of some mental health issues, depression, maybe substance abuse, maybe, I don't know. What would those be?
Well, depression, and that's exactly what it is. But with all of them, no matter what the problem is really getting to the root. And that's where the work starts. And the therapists, they really need to understand what is causing the issues for that person. And the person needs to understand too. A lot of times when individuals, even if you lose a job, you can get depressed. You even actually go through grieving. It's a non-death loss, but you experience grief for non-death losses. And I don't think individuals really know that. Just everyday people don't necessarily know that you would grieve the same way. The breakup of a relationship, same thing. That's a non-death loss, and you grieve the same way.
Yeah, I mean,
as
marriage,
if it were from divorce, a loss through death.
Yeah, divorce. It's a death of identity, isn't it?
Yes, and so as far as substance abuse, it's really important to help that individual really get to the root cause, and then offer help as if I were in the field outside of the school district, then I would help them. But then there's so many services available that people don't know, and I would refer them so they could actually get that help. Going to the meetings that are necessary and get support.
All right. So what do you hope people come away with as they read your book?
I would hope that they come away with more of an understanding and a willingness to reach out for help. The book provides a lot of information. Not that they're going to know every single thing, but they will have enough information to reach out. And usually, well, in the school system, I provide referrals. And so they have, and then the referrals actually contact the individual, the parent. And so all they need to do is actually go to the appointment or have the appointment online, however they need to do it, and follow up. And so in speaking with parents, I believe that I dispel the negativity that goes with mental illness. A lot of times, parents in the years that I've been doing this, the parents don't necessarily want to believe that their child needs mental health care or needs help. And so that's a hurdle that we have to get over.
Is it because they see it as a reflection of maybe their failure as a parent? It's not necessarily, but it really isn't. I just believe that there's lack of knowledge, and they don't understand completely. And some of them may think it's their parenting, and so all I could do and all I've done is really explain to them and work with them. And so I do have parent-teacher conference meetings, mental health issue. We also have psychologists that we refer them to. But I do meet with the parents and really help them understand and how counseling is going to help their child. The more you know, as they like to say. Give us your .coms as we go out and all that good stuff.
Okay. So it's author Cynthia Rapazzini.com.
Well, thank you very much, Cynthia, for coming on the show and making people's lives better, helping them improve and all that good stuff. I certainly appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thanks, friends, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Order her book up wherever fine books are sold so that you can get up to date. And remember, man, it's everyone goes through troubles in life. Be sure to ask for help. That's half the reason we do the Chris Voss Show, is we share the blueprints from people that have gone through tough moments and survived, and they can help you too, and so can Cynthia and her book. And even in my life, I've had times where I've had to turn to help for a psychologist or be on, I think at one time I was on some Zoloft there and some depression. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's human. We're all human. There's no shame in it. In fact, if anything, usually when you help yourself, you end up helping others. So, be sure to good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.